The sole purpose of this video is to provide a basic overview and orientation of your new apparatus. This video is not intended to act as or replace individualized driver-operator training. Individual fire departments may base guidelines, policies, and procedures tailored for best practices. Pierce Manufacturing and Hughes Fire Equipment representatives are not liable for injuries caused from acts resulting from actions inconsistent with the information provided within this video and/or accompanying manuals. Refer to the Operation and Maintenance Manual for complete details relating to the components and features of this apparatus. Only trained personnel should operate this vehicle or perform maintenance. You are responsible for learning how to operate this fire apparatus under all conditions without having to refer to the manual while operating at an emergency incident. This video will discuss types of warnings and caution labels. It is your responsibility to locate and identify each of the labels and understand the importance and associated hazards. Warning labels will point out procedure that must be taken or action that must be avoided to guard against the possibility of serious injury or death. Caution labels will advise you that there is a risk of damage to property if certain precautions are not followed. Continuous training, reviewing of operation and service manuals, developing good standardized practices will assist driver operators with a more complete understanding of the components and operation of this fire apparatus. As the driver operator of this vehicle, you are responsible for understanding the function of each component of the apparatus, maintaining control of the fire apparatus at all times while in operation, make operational and functional changes while operating at an emergency without having to read operator's instructions or safety warning labels, operate manual override and emergency shutdown procedures immediately if a component fails to operate properly. Components location may vary with each Pierce fire apparatus. Review the exact location of each component prior to operation. Major inconsistencies between your vehicle and the information contained in this video should be directed to your sales representative. Safe operation of any vehicle is the responsibility of the driver operator. You must learn the location and function of all controls, switches, gauges, valves, inlets, and discharges. Due to a higher center of gravity, heavy trucks have a significantly higher rollover tendency than other types of vehicles. To reduce the risk of rollover, avoid making sharp turns, excessive speed, and avoid abrupt maneuvers. In the event of a rollover crash, an unbelted person is significantly more likely to become injured or die than a person wearing a seatbelt. In the event of a crash, unbuckled occupants can also become a hazard to other occupants, as they may be thrown around inside the cab. Seatbelts are required while in operation. Please refer to your warranty certificates for details and information enclosed in your manuals. Customer-installed equipment must be mounted to withstand road travel and comply with NFPA 1901. Modifications such as drilling holes or welding to structural frame components of the chassis are not permitted. Contact Pierce for instruction and review of non-structural sheet metal or other dissimilar metals for modification. Follow the radio installation guide for further assistance on installing or mounting electronics. Before placing your new apparatus into service, perform a primary inspection of key components of the apparatus, including all fluid levels, anti-lock braking systems, electronic stability control, and automatic traction control. Weigh your apparatus to ensure that it conforms to axle and brake ratings. Never exceed the gross axle rating printed on the label inside the cab. Exceeding these ratings could lead to reduced component life, personal injury, or death. Review the use of auxiliary braking systems, compression brake, exhaust brake, electronic retarder, and hydraulic retarder. Before placing the apparatus in service, refer to the operational maintenance manuals. Information on the operation and maintenance functions for the components such as the pump, pressure governor, and foam systems, along with other options, is provided in either the Pierce manuals and/or other manufacturer support information delivered with the apparatus. If you need more information, please contact Hughes Fire Equipment. Congratulations, Goodyear, Arizona, on your new fire apparatus, job number 32989. Please utilize this 5-digit job number when referencing your apparatus with Hughes Fire Equipment and Pierce Manufacturing. We'll get started on a brief orientation of your new apparatus. Let's start down at the front bumper area. Underneath the front bumper, you'll find 2 open-ended tow hooks located just under the front bumper. Just inward of that location, you'll find dual air horns. Moving up onto the face of the bumper, on the passenger side is where you'll find your PA and electronic siren speaker. Moving to the driver's side, you'll find your mechanical siren. Moving up onto the top of the bumper extension, you'll find an additional covered storage area location. We'll talk about some of the items within that area. It does require the 2 D handles to be released to gain access inside. Up onto the body, you'll find your turn indicator on the left and right. Located within the inside section, you'll find your headlight cluster, housing the low and high beam headlights. Moving upward, you'll find 2 emergency warning lights on the passenger and driver's side. Located directly behind the Pierce logo is where you'll find the release mechanism for your hood. Moving to the outer edges, you'll find your mirrors, convexed and also flat. Located across the front seamless windshield, 3 windshield wipers. Let's take a look at the very top section. First, we'll start with the emergency lights down at the very bottom. Just beneath those lights, you'll also find running lights. Moving upward, you'll find your Opticom. And then at the very top, you're going to find 2 forward-facing adjustable floodlights. As we move back down, you'll find 2 MasterStream devices. At the very top, you'll find your audible speaker system. You'll also find 2 discharges located in the very center. Let's move to the side of the bucketed area. First, you'll find 2 emergency warning lights on the side. Just underneath that location, you'll find downward-facing floodlights. Got a closer image of that. Let's take a quick look. First, underneath, you'll find also a drain for your aerial, and then just behind it, you'll find the downward sprinkler system for under the bucket. You also have 2 bumpers located underneath, and then also 2 attachment points. There is also access panels for quick access inside those areas. Moving to the very back section of the bucketed area, you'll find 2 adjustable pole-style floodlights, in addition with your audible warning and also visual warning overload lights. Let's move now to the close-ups here of some of those items we talked about. This is your front bumper area. Inside the front bumper, you're going to find your shutoff for your air supply valve and also an air outlet. Onto the other side, you're going to find your generator power. This is an electrical outlet. Let's move to the driver's side of the vehicle, where you'll find first a side-facing camera. You'll also find an emergency warning light located within this area. This is directly over the front tire. And then you'll also find your auto eject plug when plugged into shore power. Let's move further down. This is the very rear of the compartment of your cab. This is a smaller compartment within the body. Let's go ahead and move just downward from this location, where you'll find 2 folding wheel chocks. Up from that location in the first compartment, past the cab, we're going to find your electrical components. We'll talk about these components next. First, starting with the S1, which stands for Shore Power 1. The one just beneath that, G1, which stands for Generated Power. This is the S1, which controls the battery charger and also P4 compartment receptacles. This is the G1. You can see the 1 through 16 on the ledger here for different items that it controls. This is the Harrison generator module. And then in the upper right-hand corner, you'll find the continuous power supply breaker for your G1 system. Once again, in the lower section, you can see Harrison 10 MAS-16. Let's move up to the very top, where you're going to find your auto charge system. When plugged into shore power, this will activate, in addition with your air compressor system, which allows you to maintain brake pressure. Let's move further back now to the first pan door. This is going to be your electrical cord reel.
You can see inside 200 feet of electrical cord. Moving upward above that, you'll find a side-facing floodlight and also an American flag just on the ladder side. A couple of warning labels here. This is your outrigger, and there is the possibility of crush. That's why there is a warning label on that. Also moving to the right, because this is an aerial device, there is the possibility for a danger regarding electrocution. Also, only trained personnel should operate this piece of equipment only after you've read the owner's manual. Down in the lower section, this is an exhaust warning regarding extremely hot exhaust temperatures. You can see the shielding around the exhaust. Just above this location in the compartment above, you're going to find your cord reel rewind. This is for your 20 amp 200 foot electrical cord reel that we mentioned earlier. In this compartment, you're going to find dry deck material and also a pull-out tilt-down shelf. As we move just in front of the rear tires, you'll find the location for the fill of your DEF tank. There is also a visual indicator of tank level. Moving further to the back, you'll find between the duals, SCBA bottle storage location. Just to the rear of the wheels where you'll find this compartment which houses your ultra low sulfur diesel fuel. It is the silver cap. Let's move down to the very last compartment behind the rear wheels. You'll find tilting shelf and also a pull-out shelf. The release mechanism for that pull-out shelf is on the right-hand side. Also, your stabilizer pads are just underneath this compartment. Let's point out a couple warning labels here again. Once again, stabilizers, crush injury possibility. That's why the warning label is there. And there's also a warning label here that you should not ride on the side of your apparatus while it's in motion. This is the inclinometer to the very rear, indicating front to rear level. You're also going to find on the very rear section your driver's side flood and also rear scene lights. Let's move to the compartment which houses your stabilizer control. First at the very top, you'll find the red emergency stop with an indicator. Moving to the right, you'll find a protected switch, which is your override. And then further to the right, you'll find the stabilizing power with a green indicator. Also further to the right, you'll find a diagnostic port. Let's move now down to the very bottom section. This is your coiled remote. We'll talk a little bit about that. Let's first start with a couple identifiers within that remote. Once it's been removed, this is the face that you'll see. This is the power indicating that your unit is powered. Just beneath that, you'll find the stabilizers not stowed. This is a red indicator. Moving down beneath the Pierce logo is where you'll find your stabilizer EPU button. And then further down, the next red button is the level assist. On the outer edges of the joysticks, you can see that they move inward and outward, and they are clearly labeled for left, front and rear, and right, front and rear. There are also green indicators if they are on stable ground. Let's take a look here at the rear of the apparatus. We've got a couple warning labels here. This is danger for electrocution hazard. And then also, once again, do not ride on the rear of the apparatus while it's in motion. At the very top, you'll find your traffic advisor. Above that is where you'll find your backup camera. Let's move all the way to the very right-hand side. We have some electronic valves here. I'll talk about those in the next set of images. These are for the rear intake for your aerial device. Just beneath that, you'll also find an outlet from your generator power, and then also a switch regarding the ability to turn on rear scene lights. This is your ladder storage location. Just beneath that, you're going to find a couple of warning labels here regarding only attachment points should be utilized in a direct pull sense, and also a warning label here regarding pressurized caps and the associated hazards while removing a cap under pressure. These are the two inlets that I referred to earlier. They are electronic. These are the actual inlets. Just beneath that, you'll find your aerial drain behind this pan door. Moving to the right, you'll also find the aerial inlet. This is a visual gauge. Here's some close-up those items that we just talked about. You can see the aerial drain, the smaller one. There's also a larger one just inside the pan door. These are the electronic valves that we were just talking about for driver's side aerial inlet and also passenger side aerial inlet. As we move to the right, you'll find your brake, turn, and also reverse emergency light cluster. To the right of this image is where you're going to find the next compartment we're going to refer to. This is the back section where the drop-down ladder is located to go aloft. This is going to be your aerial emergency power. It's a diverter switch also for your stabilizer emergency power. There are manual valves on the left-hand side, clearly labeled instructions just beneath. There's also a warning and danger label here regarding tip hazard and also high pressure hazard regarding those hydraulic lines. Let's take a closer look at the switch itself. You can see here aerial emergency power can be switched upward, or stabilizer emergency power, which can be switched downward. We're now at the top section of the aerial where the rotation gear is located. Inside this smaller compartment is where you're going to find your air for your aerial device. This is the fill location and also regulator. Also within that vicinity, you're also going to find the aerial device manual controls. There are 3 levers here and also a switch for controlling. Let's move down to the pedestal itself. First, a couple of items here. On the left-hand side, the black round circle is an audible speaker. It does have the ability for adjustment on the outer edge of the bezel. On the right, you're going to find some warning labels here and also crush labels. Just beneath that, you'll find an access panel below. This is for service and maintenance personnel. This is the calibration and also the basket level. Let's move to the side of the ladder where you're going to find your controls and also an inclinometer. Let's first start at the upper section. This is your emergency stop. Moving downward on the left-hand side of this panel is where you're going to find your DC lights for on and off, and also your under basket lights. Down at the very bottom, you'll find an aerial speed. That's for slow, normal, and fast. As we move back up to the top, there is a protected switch here for aerial. This is for your manual basket leveling disable. And you're also going to find just beneath that the ability to access and turn on and off your generator from the pedestal area. Just beneath that, you'll find your rear basket light. And these are the 2 lights that are located on the rear of the basket. Just beneath that, you'll find the emergency hydraulic power. Further to the right, you'll find your Pierce command zone. Tremendous information available right here at your fingertips. Read your owner's manual for more detail. Just beneath that, you'll find your nozzle control on the left-hand side and then also ladder controls to the right. Let's take a look now with the bucket in the open position. You're going to find your intercom system. This is not covered by the actual cover itself, but you do have a volume in the lower section and also a power button just beneath the volume. To the right, you'll find a listen talk button. It is momentary. When you push down, you can activate the talk position. This is to the right of that pedestal area. This is the inclinometer from -0 to 10 and from 0 to 80. Just inside the cover of the pedestals where you'll find this placard regarding your 100-foot steel aerial platform load chart. This is with the waterway dry and also waterway charged. You also have monitor nozzle positions and beneath that capacities that are based on the following conditions, which have an asterisk next to them. Just a quick look at the aerial itself. As we look to the left-hand side, you'll find a 16-foot roof ladder. You'll also find compartment storage. There is a warning label here regarding possibility of falling items while that aerial is in the upward position or in use position. There's also a warning label that this is not a walking area. And then you'll find on the left, this is going to be your air conditioning unit, which is on the driver's side. As we move to the opposite side, moving toward the tip of the ladder is where you're going to find additional LED lighting regarding your emergency warning lights. Let's go ahead and take a look at the back section of the bucket. This is the 2 lights that we referred to earlier. There's also a storage compartment on the driver's side rear section of that bucket. As we move inside the bucket, let's first identify a few items here. There are personnel attachment points to the left and to the right. We'll break this down into 3 different modules. First, on the left-hand side, light and nozzle control. Located in the center is going to be ladder control. And then to the right, you're going to find all of your Pierce information regarding the command zone. Let's take a quick look at those things. First, starting on the left-hand side with your lights in the upper section, nozzle control, also an emergency stop, aerial speed, and your manual basket leveling. Located in the center, which is removable, your ladder controls. And then to the right, you'll find your Pierce command zone, which has a tremendous amount of information right here at your fingertips. To the rear section of the bucket, you're going to find additional warning labels here and also the ability for attachment points for personnel. Just beneath that, you're going to find an air outlet. This is for utilizing your SCBA while in use inside the bucket area. We'll go ahead and go through a few close-ups of the areas that we just talked about, in addition with some of the compartments to highlight. In this area, we're referring to the generator outlet. This is in the bucket area. As we move just under the ladder to the dunnage area, this is the location for your Harrison generator. Moving also through the compartments, you have dry deck material, LED lighting, and then also adjustable shelving. This is the fuel location, ultra low sulfur diesel, silver cap. Once again, moving through some compartments, dry deck material, and also LED lighting. We're now on the exterior. There are 3 bottle storage locations between the dual wheels. Moving into this compartment, you can see that this is an adjustable shelf, but it is also a pull-out and tilt-down style. Let's go ahead and move to the next compartment to the rear. I'd like to point out the location for the reel rewind. This is for the electrical cord reel. This is a 20 amp electrical cord reel that's 200 feet in length. We'll now move to the next compartment. This is the through compartment, which houses tool boards and also airbag storage locations. We're now moving toward the front section where the cab is located. Let's first take a look at the warning labels here regarding all personnel should be advised of. The use of seat belts and also warning labels are located at all points of entry. In the rear section, you'll find these red grab handles to make it easy for firefighters to gain entry and exit the cab. General view inside the vehicle. You can see on the left and right hand side, the storage compartment also houses USB and also 12-volt access points. Located directly between the 2 seats, you'll find your David Clark headset system. Moving to the outer edges, you'll find once again that 12-volt access panel on the very back, and then also a switch on the left-hand side and on the right-hand side for accessing cab lights. Underneath the seat, you'll find an additional riser with storage locations. As we move to the very center, you'll find the access location for your daily checks for the transmission fluid and also oil. Let's go ahead and move now to the passenger seat or officer location. First, I would like to point out that your vehicle does have some warning labels here. Once again, at all points of entry, these are going to be found. You also have a supplemental restraint system, an airbag located on this side. That is the SRS sticker located at the very top. And be cautious in not mounting any equipment within this area. Let's move forward. This is for your computer system. You can see the yellow handles are the release mechanisms to pull the keyboard toward you. On the left-hand side, you'll find all of your emergency controls for air horn, sirens, and electronic sirens. You'll also find 2 12-volt access points, barrel style, and also USB. In the Pierce command zone, you have a display port, and then to the right, you'll find your radio push-to-talk button. Let's now move to the driver's side of the vehicle. We'll start first, once again, with those warning labels at the point of entry for firefighters. We also have a warning label here regarding the use of seat belts. Our seat belts are red in color for ease of identification. And I'd also like to point out this yellow placard down in the lower right-hand side of the image. This is the manufactured for your department, City of Goodyear. This has the date of manufacture, job number, which is a 5-digit job number, the vehicle VIN code, also gross vehicle weight ratings, and then all of your fluid capacities for the components and fluid types. You'll also find when plugged into shore power, your auto charge system will activate. Just to the front of this is where you'll find an air inlet. As we move upward, about the left knee of the operator is where you'll find the red quarter-turn master battery switch. Beneath it, you'll find some additional diagnostic information ports. We'll go over those next. First, starting at the very top with the tech module. In green is the engine, transmission, ABS diagnostics. And then to the right is your display ports. Just beneath that, you'll find the 3 switches, ABS, regen, and also DPF regen switches. Let's move down to the floor where you're going to find foot pedals for your air horn and mechanical siren. And let's go ahead and move now to the right-hand side. This is your interaxle differential lock, and there is an indicator if it has been activated. Up to the dash left side, you'll find your hazard lights, start switch, and also ignition. Moving further to the right in this small cluster, you'll find an EM switch, emergency master, your headlights, and also a panel switch which allows you to brighten or dim the panel lights. On the right hand side of the steering column is where you'll find your high idle switch. Located in the center in the cluster, you're going to find your transmission oil, DEF level, and water on the left. Located in the center is your tachometer and speedometer. To the right, you're going to find volts, fuel, front and rear air. Informational diagnostic information above and below the speedometer. To the left, you'll find your system parking brake, pull to apply and push to release. To the right, you'll find your Pierce command zone, and then further to the right, you'll find your Allison transmission pad. Let's move further to the right in this image now as we find a set of switches. First, at the very top, we're going to find the driver's side scene, passenger side scene, exhaust diverter, driver's side flood and passenger side flood, rear scene, and then also your front basket flood. As we move further down, the next set of switches, this is going to be your engine brake and on-off switch. You also have the ability to control its low, medium, and high for that engine brake. You do have a retarder. It's an on or off switch, off-road traction, front wheel lock, and also your mirror heat. Moving once again to the right, you're going to find 12-volt battery, access barrel style, and USB. You also have in the center a radio push to talk, and then just above that you'll find the traffic advisor. There are some switches just above on the very top of this module area. Let's first take a look at those. These are going to be all of your windows and also your body compartment spare. You have climate control in the very front and also mirror control just beneath that. Let's move to the left-hand side over the operator's head. You have a height of 12 feet 3 inches, length 47 feet, gross vehicle weight rating of 82,000 pounds, and also a job number of 32989. As we move to the right, you'll find a set of switches: emergency master, roof light, front warning, and side warning. Just beneath that, you'll find the lower rear warning, upper rear warning, the high beam flash, and then your Opticom switch. Further to the right, you're going to find the aerial master, the aerial PTO, which both of those will need to be engaged for aerial operations, platform leveling, your generator PTO, electronic siren, mechanical siren, siren brake, and load manager. To the right, you'll find your PA and siren control module. Also further to the right in the center area, you'll find your seatbelt indicator, red indicating that someone is in the seat and they are not belted, green indicating that they are in the seat and belted. Just beneath that, you'll find a flashing light indicating that your doors are open or a compartment is ajar. As we look to the rear section of the apparatus, you can see on the left and right compartment storages, on the left and right, passenger and driver, 2 seats located in the center, David Clark headset system in the very center. Moving to the rear section now, you'll find once again those warning labels on all points of entry for your apparatus. You'll also find 2 rear-facing seats that mirror the back seats of the driver and passenger. Congratulations, Goodyear, Arizona, on your new fire apparatus, job number 32989. If you have any questions as to the content of this video, please contact your Hughes Fire sales representative. Thank you and congratulations.